She's looking rather dull-witted right now.
I will always love Andile, right? But where I am right now, I need all or nothing. Like, I need a complete person. I don't want half an Andile. Don't flirt with me.
Like, why can't you just speak up when everyone else is there? Like, what are you afraid of? Louis, I have to call the gods from heaven to come carry you out because I'm addressing this shit right here, right now.
Before we get into the analysis of this particular episode, let's talk about your reactions to my review of the episode 6 of Young, Famous and African. So I saw all of your reactions in the comment section. A lot of you were so strong about your not agreeing with my review of Louis's attitude towards the whole surrogacy conversation, and a lot of you had your own strong reasons, and I highly respect that. However, for me, it goes beyond that. For me, it wasn't just about if Louis had actually instructed Kanye to go have that conversation with Zari or not. For me, that was not even my bone of contention. For me, it was about the mere idea in itself.
So, two things will happen. It's either Zari and myself are gonna go on research about surrogacy and have individual surrogates, or Zari might be my egg donor and I become a sperm donor.
What is Louis saying?
Guys, we know that Louis already has history with Diamond. So, for me, why would you even think of even embarking on that journey with Zari? That is provocative, guys. Listen, no matter what anybody tells me, for me that is provocative because they have issues unresolved. They have not settled their beef of Louis dating Diamond's girlfriend in the past. They have not settled that issue yet. And then there's also Fontana, whom Louis is aware of, is now going on dates with Diamond and is chasing that one. Guys, listen, maybe a lot of you don't realize this, but having kids is actually a serious business. Just that a lot of people have actually abused it, but it's actually sacred. Yes. And one thing I kind of admire about Diamond is, even though he is for the streets, even though he is a player, even though his Mandigo is public property, yes, I think he values family in a way. And you see that conversation about surrogacy, he and Zari having a third child together. I think it's something that they're actually taking serious. So the mere fact that Louis was even having Zari as an option, or two things will happen. It's either this happens or it's either she gives me her eggs and I bring my sperm and then we produce a child. Guys, for me, it's absolutely ridiculous. Hence the reason I really bashed Louis on that review I did. And I still stand by my words. I still stand by my perspective. Yes, I feel like that was just very, very intrusive. I feel like that was a covetous idea. Yes, I just feel like that was just highly provocative. And that's my frank opinion. Moving on to episode 7. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode was very, very emotional for me. Yes, it was very, very emotional, and it got me also riled up. It was also kind of triggering. Yes, as usual, we know the trigger of the group. That's Swanky Jerry, always seeking highlights, always seeking clout, thereby doing the craziest of the craziest things just to get all the spotlight on himself. And I will still refer to that human being as extremely childish, very, very petty, and just annoyingly bitchy. Yes, he did the same thing he's been doing in previous episodes on this particular episode as well, and I have a lot to say about his actions in this episode. However, aside Swanky Jerry soiling the clean image of this particular episode, Andile also stood out for me. Andile, oh my god, that guy once again proved to be one of the most rational humans in that group. Yes, him taking time out to get to know Louis better, have proper conversations with him, guys, that really touched my heart. However, Andile, the fact that he is very, very intelligent still does not take away the fact that he's a very, very selfish individual, and I'll give you my reasons for terming him that way. All right, so let's get into this video. We're going to review everything, every single event as they unfolded on this particular episode as usual, and I want to urge you all to please make sure you watch to the end so that you don't miss out on any part. And as usual, I would love to hear your thoughts about everything. Just go ahead and share your own perspective in the comment section below. And officially, you are all specially welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hi, my name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Glory, and I am the girl with the tea. Special announcement, guys. The part 2 of my Gambian trip is up on my other YouTube channel. The link is in the description box, or you can just check on one of the hovering cards for it. Guys, I'm so proud of myself about that particular video. I really put my foot in that one. I put in a lot of work into that video, and I was just so amazed at the result of my efforts. So guys, please go ahead, show some support. Go ahead, watch the video, and yeah, please subscribe if you're yet to join that family. Please go ahead and subscribe. All right, now quickly, let's proceed into the details of this conversation. The beginning of this episode was very triggering for me.
So I decided to buy Louis a gift.
78 persons in you, be real.
Who makes such an effort?
Guys, if I were to have been in that circle when Swanky had handed over that ridiculous gift to Louis, guys, I would have lost my shit. If nobody was going to stand up and defend Louis, me, I would have defended Louis. Because I don't know how this show is done. It's like they literally guide the actions of the cast members. One person is acting all bitchy, all childish, and the rest will just keep quiet, and then they'll just be looking like they are instructed to keep quiet and wait for a reaction. And then those ones that even manage to give a reaction, it's like they were, signaled on cue to give a reaction. Guys, that scene was just very, very annoying. It was so triggering, and it made me wonder, like, okay, this Swanky guy, in real life, you cannot be like this in real life. There's no way you're going to be like this in real life and you still be walking intact. Somebody would have removed that invisible crown from your head, those chips on your shoulders that makes you feel like you have the audacity to be stupid or to be whatever, however way to anybody. Somebody would have really put you down to another level. Because guys, I just feel like that was just so rude. That was disrespectful. And the fact that Louis was quiet, oh my god. See, guys, I was literally over here and I was shouting my head off like, no way did that just happen. No way. That was rude. Then talking about the inscriptions on the shirt, guys, let's call a spade a spade. If there's anybody that looks like they have 78 personalities or even 1,000 more, it is definitely Swanky Jerry. Yeah, on the show. I'm not talking about the Swanky in real life because I don't know that dude, but I'm talking about the Swanky, the way he's portraying himself on the show. That guy looks like he has 1,000 personalities in himself. Yes. Because 1 minute he's trying to give up the air of, loyalty. The next minute he's a hypocrite. 1 minute he's trying to act like he's woke. The next minute we obviously see him displaying all levels of irrationality, childishness. So when the guy was talking about, because you have 78 personalities, be real. I'm like, no, Swanky, you be real. You look like you are a walking delusion. You act like you live in delusion. You act like you live in fiction, la la land. Dude, you be real. You wake up. Then, as if Swanky was not enough, Fontana decided to behave like a hairhead, like an empty-brained person. Because this is one person that, came into the show with so much swag, like, hey, I'm this, I'm that. So me, I was actually expecting a lot. I was expecting, okay, this person will have a mind of her own. This person would not be gullible enough to believe any and everything that she sees or hears in the group. This person should be mature enough to be able to find out things for herself and then create or form her own loyalties to whoever. But guys, lo and behold, Fontana literally bought everything that Swanky Jerry said, hook, line, and sinker. And guys, I totally agreed with Louis when he said that it seems like Fontana is just allowing Swanky to think for her. Guys, That's a fact. That's a fact. And then listening to our own line of defense, like everybody was saying it in a group, and I just felt like, well, I just believe it because everybody was just stripping. I'm like, just shh, shh, shh. And Andile saved that situation for me because at that point in time, I was really losing it at Fontana already. Yes. So Andile, in his usual mature way, decided to have a conversation with Louis to know him better, not necessarily to know about all the drama that's been happening. And guys, you see, that's a very interesting way to understand why people behave the way they behave. Having knowledge of their background, having knowledge of their history, where they are coming from, what they have been through, how the experiences of their lives have actually shaped them, how their life experiences have actually shaped them, and what information have they garnered from their life experiences to relate with people the way they do. And that was exactly what Andile did. And guys, I just appreciated the fact that Andile gave Louis that listening ear. And oh my God, guys, Louis's story really broke me. Yes. And it made me wonder about the church, the so-called body of Christ. Guys, you see, the way people have actually abused God's existence, God's doctrines, the way people have actually decided to make themselves the judge for God. They are the ones that will judge God's case. Guys, it was just so disgusting. It was from that conversation that I had learned that Louis had actually participated in Big Brother Africa. I don't know which season, but he said he participated. He was 21 at the time, and he had had sex in the house. And because of that, his family's church had excommunicated him. Wow. Excommunicated him because of that. And according to the church's doctrines, any member of that church is not supposed to affiliate with him anymore. And so because of that, for over 7 years, he had not seen his family. And I'm wondering, like, guys, what kind of doctrine is that? That is not a church. That is a cult. Yes, that is a cult. For a church, all in the name of Christ, to instruct you via their doctrines to disown your child because he had sex on a reality TV show. Guys, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense. Where is the doctrine of Christ in all of this? Guys, it was so heartbreaking that Louis's story is the reason he desperately wants a child, the reason he desperately wants to start his own family. It's also the reason he desperately wants to be a part of that group. And another reason why he's not a confrontational person, because he just wants to belong. Yes, guys. And it made me feel so sad. And in my head, I was tendering an apology to Louis for, calling him desperate, wanting to be a part of the group desperately, which is quite true, but I didn't think of it from, this angle, of him sharing his story. And guys, it just made me feel really sad because the cast members were just so judgmental. They did not do what Andile did. They did not try to get to understand him. They did not try to get to know him. They just started judging him off. And also, deliberately ignoring the fact that Swanky is actually the one causing all of this drama, trying to taint Louis's image. Guys, see, I've said it before that these cast members, all of them, they are selfish. Going back to Louis's church and his family situation, guys, coincidentally, immediately I was done watching this particular episode, I had gone onto Instagram to do some stuff, and then I came across a particular video where someone was narrating a story. Now, from that story, it said that a man had gone to church with his family, so service was on and his phone started ringing out loud. Yes, and I think they said it was raining outside and stuff. So his wife looked at him with disgust. The church pastor scolded him. Everybody in the church was literally scolding him. Everybody was pointing fingers at him. And then he left the church and then he walked into a bar. On getting into the bar, he was feeling depressed. He was feeling dejected. He had ordered a drink. Now, it was while he was having that drink that the drink slipped from his hand, fell to the floor and spilled. And a lot of people started rushing to him. So he was scared that, oh my God, are they coming to attack me? But guess what? The bartender was telling him, oh, are you okay? Everybody was checking, are you fine? Oh, did something happen to you? Oh, did the glass cut your hand? Are you hurt? Are you okay? The waitress was cleaning up the mess, and they bought him another drink on the house without him having to pay. And according to that narrator, ever since, that man never stopped going back to that bar, but he stopped going to church. And that was the exact situation that Louis found himself. The church rejected him, excommunicated him. His family that's supposed to have his back, his family that's supposed to shield him from such mediocrity, also, shut him out completely. And now the world embraced him. He's got achievements, he's got things that he's doing, but then there's nobody to celebrate with. Hence the reason he wants to start a family of his own. Hence the reason he wants to, insert himself in that group, to find friends, to find another sort of family. Guys, you know what? I don't even want to say anything about the church anymore, because that's a very, very sensitive conversation. But people need to do better. People who call themselves Christians. I'm a Christian, but you cannot stand to be God's judge because you're not God. You're talking about Andile. I've given you guys 1,000,001 reasons why I feel Andile is more like the most rational individual in that group. However, I still see Andile as selfish because his baby mamas are still in the mix, right? I mean, he has literally brought them into the group, and that's the part where he claims to be best friends with the first baby mama, that's Rosette, and then he still has deep feelings for the second baby mama, that's Sebato. Now, he wants Sebato. He doesn't want to be alone anymore. He's looking for love. He wants to settle down finally. He's building a house of his own, and he wants to do all of that settling down with Sebato. But then there's also Rosette, who he is overly close with. There's still feelings there, right? These two people are so playful that it offends Sebato. Sebato has given him an ultimatum that I cannot have half of you. I must have all of you. And guys, we know what that means. It means I am going to be the only woman you recognize in your life. God, guys. And Andile, I feel like that's kind of giving him a lot of thinking to do. And it's making me wonder, like, man, you have severe ties with your first baby mom. Both of you are still best friends, and you still bring her in your circles, you still invite her to functions. Both of you still play like, I mean, guys, I understand the whole deal about co-parenting, but there should be a line. There should be a boundary. And then with Sebato, you know that what you keep doing with Rosette is offensive to her, but you still keep doing it because your excuse is you don't even think people are doing anything wrong. You are just friends. And you don't want to allow these women to introduce anybody else in their life. You want to be the only man in their life, but you don't want to, like, guys, what? It's confusing. It's really confusing, and it's also exhausting to even think about. And it makes me question, Andile's intentions. It makes me wonder if eventually Andile settles down with Sebato, is he going to be faithful to her forever? Will there not be a time when he will have to sneak out and do a 1 or a 2 with Rosette and then go back again to Sebato, or do whatever I want to do with a third party or anybody else out there? Guys, what do you think about this whole situation? Next scene where Andile tried talking sense to Swanky, trying to let him know that it was just very, very offensive, the so-called gift he had given to Louis, and Swanky kept on holding his ground, talking about, oh, it's Louis's fault that all of these things are happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I was once again triggered because I'm like, Swanky, you are the genesis of this whole mess. You are the trouble starter. You are the instigator of this whole mess. But here you are, acting like you didn't do shit. Here you are, talking about, oh, he's lying. Like, bro, I don't understand. Are you in his mind? Were you there when he was having conversations with Kanye? How would you know if he was lying or not? The guy was just holding his ground and even blaming Louis for being quiet, for not talking. I'm like, no, bro, you check yourself. You should blame yourself for overreacting. All in the guise of, oh, I'm loyal, I'm defending my friend. Dude, you bullied Louis. So it's not Louis's fault for not reacting, for not giving you the kind of energy you wanted. Because obviously what Swanky was expecting was, oh, he was going to do all of that charade, and Louis too was going to say, oh, come, bring it on, let's fight. And then he's now going to say, oh, look at you. I mean, that was obviously the reaction Swanky was expecting from Louis. And every time he does not get the reaction that he wants, he does more. He pokes more. He provokes more, just to get the reaction and to prove a point to the rest of the cast members that Louis is actually the crazy person. I loved the fact that in as much as Andile kept on signaling Louis, to utilize that opportunity to speak, Louis held back. Because guys, frankly, if Louis had said a word, Swanky would have gotten the highlight he was looking for at that point in time. Now, I didn't realize how much I had missed naked DJ and Kaylee's scene, all their moments, right? They actually showed us a bit more of those two people in season 1, but this season, we barely had enough time with both of them. So I was quite excited when we were blessed by their alone time. And guys, I just love those two people. But then it's also very obvious that naked DJ is not ready for marriage. I mean, we've heard on the show that he tried it, I think, twice, and he failed. And we don't know the details yet. And there he was saying that he wants more from the relationship now. Mind you, in season 1, he was one that was not particularly ready. But according to him, for the past 1 year, Kaylee has given him so much. He wants more. In other words, he kind of wants to settle down. But guys, you see, my fear with people like Andile, people like Naked, is if they get married to this person they want to get married to, are they going to finally settle down? Or maybe along the line, they will come up with one excuse or the other, trying to justify why they felt like they rushed it and why they don't think that person is actually the suitable partner that they actually wanted to settle down with. So that's my fear for Kaylee. And it seems like Kaylee really understands Naked, and she knows the person she's dealing with. And so she's no longer in a hurry to expect any form of, marriage proposals from him, And so I kind of liked the way she was joking about the whole thing so as not to hurt herself. Now, Naked DJ's conversation with Kanye was so hilarious. And you see, I really respect the way Kanye thinks. Yes, I respect her way of reasoning, even though she can be very, very sneaky sometimes and, very, very calculating. I just respect the way she reasons. She's very, very open-minded, and it's very refreshing, to hear her speak most of the time. So I loved that question she asked Naked DJ, that is this person the person you see, sitting at the front of your Porsche at the age of 70? I can't remember how she phrased that question, but I loved it. And Naked's reaction at that point in time was epic, because it occurred to him that he had not really thought about it up until that extent. And guys, I feel like a lot of people too, when it comes to this issue of marriage, I don't think they actually think that far. A lot of people just think about the near future. They don't think about the far future. And then it goes to show that most of these people, they just want to have the short time of it, have offsprings, continue their lineage, and then move on to the next best thing, according to how they define the next best thing for them, So I loved the fact as well that she encouraged him that, to give Kaylee reassurance, they should have a trailer proposal. And guys, that was exactly what they had at the final scene. Before we get to that final scene, let's talk about that boat cruise where Louis finally spoke up. Guys, I really appreciated the fact that Louis finally was able to share his story, his background, and the motive behind him saying what he said and doing what he did, with the rest of the crew. However, Swanky once again was just very annoying at that scene. I mean, Swanky was acting like Louis had to report to him. Okay, tell me the reason. Tell me what. Like, who are you? Like, you're looking for explanation. And the fact that Louis even indulged him, guys, I was just really upset. And I'm like, Louis, I understand you're a peaceful person. You don't like confrontations. You don't like fights. But dude, it's time for you to actually step up. It's time for you to actually man up. Because it was just very obvious that Swanky now recognizes the power he has over confrontations, with Louis. He now recognizes that, okay, this guy does not like drama. So at every given point in time, I'm going to stifle him with my energy. I'm going to stifle him, with drama, with ratchetness. Yeah, and guys, that's exactly what Swanky had been doing, and he did it on that boat cruise, and it was just very, very annoying to watch. Very annoying to watch. And then the part where I started saying that, oh, you see, as human beings, it's always very good to have conversations with people. We judged him. It's not good to jump into conclusions. I'm like, bro, that's what you've been doing. You've been jumping into conclusions. You never even took out time to have a conversation with this guy. You heard something about, oh, Louis said XYZ about Zari. Did you go ahead to have a conversation with Louis? No. Did you meet up with him to get to even understand him better? No. Instead, what did you do? You go ahead to plan a coup against the young man. You go ahead to set him up with Bona. You go ahead to set Bonang against him. You go ahead to try to rile up Fontana against him. You go ahead to try to create a negative impression about him on the other people in the group. And now there you are talking about, oh, we should get to know people better. We get to... I'm like, Swanky, just shut up. Just shush. Overall, still going by that scene, I was really relieved that finally they were able to clear the air about the whole Zari, surrogacy, egg conversation. But then I was still not satisfied about that whole clearing the air business, because I was expecting Louis to call Swanky out about the lies Swanky told Bonang about what he said, about the whole Namibia trip, Bonang going back, lying that, oh, Bonang left because there was no flowers or roses in our room. I was expecting Louis to also address that, or probably he did and the production team cut it out in the process of editing. I don't know. But this is the annoying thing about the show. So many things that needs to be addressed. It just feels like they just leave it out and address the most inconsequential details of the show. It gets really annoying. Anyways, this episode ended with Naked DJ's proposal. But anyways, this episode ended with Naked DJ's proposal to Kaylee. And guys, hey, I cannot wait to catch up with the next episode just to see if that was a fake proposal or if that was real. But in the meantime, I would love to know your thoughts about everything that we have talked about on this video. Just go ahead and share with me your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Have an amazing day. Bye.